Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm coming to you live from sunny California. It is early here, but it's not where you are. You're in the central time zone where I'm normally broadcasting from. It's already 9 o'clock in the morning. But it's a beautiful day here. We are having gorgeous weather here in California where we're staying. I don't know if you can hear it outside, but we have these gorgeous fountains, a beautiful little garden area that they've made up where there are ducks. And we have ducks with baby ducklings that are here in the morning, so we can hear them cheeping and swimming around. But it's such a peaceful place. And we've come out here to just relax and have some fun, see some friends. But more importantly, thanks, friends, for you being here. Feel free to pop into the broadcast here. Say good morning. Let me know where you're coming live, joining me. And thanks for being here. So we have a couple of things to celebrate. Today is Independent Bookstore Day. It's a great day to celebrate stores that are supporting reading and providing, great books for everybody. Michael and I went to a bookstore here in California. We went to a place called Books Inc. I love it. Look, they have purple bags, so that made me happy. And we picked up a couple of new books. We always love checking out bookstores. When we go different places, we sometimes seek them out, especially when they're historical bookstores. And Books Inc. is a historical bookstore here in California. In fact, I looked up some information about the bookstore, and it dates back to 1851, back in the gold rush days, right? When people were making their way out to the west. And there was a gentleman by the name of Anton Lohman who happened to strike it rich in Shasta City, California. And he set himself up in the business of selling books to people. He started with a small bookstore, and over the years, that bookstore was moved and then bought and then sold, and then it burned down. Then it was rebuilt and it was renamed, and it became Books Inc. as what, the store is today, right? Books Inc. in 1946. And so they are the West's oldest independent bookseller, and they've been in business since 1946 under the new name, and now have 10 stores in the California area with over 200 employees, and is thriving as an independent bookseller. So we popped in there, we picked up some new books. Let me show you some of the things that we got. Michael picked up some really great ones. He showed me this one, and I'm really interested. We're kind of trying to decide who's going to read this first. He'll probably read it first because Michael goes through books so quickly. But this one is called In Search of a Kingdom, and it is the story behind Francis Drake, Elizabeth I, and the perilous birth of the British Empire. Well, of course, I love all things British monarchy. So this is the story behind Francis Drake, their relationship. He was the most wanted and successful pirate ever to sail, nicknamed El Drac by the Spaniards, who placed a bounty on his head, quietly slipping out of the Plymouth Harbor, destination unknown. 3 years later, he would return to England in the Golden Hind, becoming the first captain to successfully circumnavigate the earth after an astonishing around-the-world adventure. Almost a decade later, Elizabeth called upon Drake again as the devil-may-care vice admiral of the English fleet. He dramatically defeated the once invincible Spanish Armada, spurring the British Empire's ascent and permanently wounding its greatest rival. In this grand and thrilling narrative, Lawrence Bergreen, the acclaimed biographer of Magellan and Columbus, reveals the singular adventures of Sir Francis Drake, whose mastery of the seas changed the course of history. So I'm looking forward to reading this. This will be an interesting book. I also picked up one called The Barbizon. This one is the story behind the legendary New York hotel for women. Built in 1927 at the height of the Roaring Twenties, the Barbizon Hotel was designed as a luxurious, safe haven for the modern woman. Over time, it became the place to stay for any ambitious young woman hoping for fame and fortune. Sylvia Plath fictionalized her time there in The Bell Jar, if you've ever read that book. And over the years, it's almost 700 tiny rooms with matching floral curtains and bedspreads, housed among many others, Titanic survivor Molly Brown, actress Grace Kelly, Liza Minnelli, Ally McGraw, Jacqueline Smith, and writers Joan Didion, Gail Green, Diane Johnson, and Meg Wolitzer. Before the hotel's residents were household names, they were young women arriving at the Barbizon with a suitcase and a dream. Beautifully written and impeccably researched, the Barbizon weaves together a tale that has until now never been told. It is both a vivid portrait of the lives of these young women who came to New York looking for something more and an epic history of women's ambitions. Right? The Barbizon. So this is a new book that I picked up. And I don't know about you, but I love researching and finding out more new books to read, to enjoy. I'm going to say hello to everyone that's popping in this morning. Good morning, Teresa. Good to see you. Hello, Bailey. Good to see you as well, my dear. Congratulations on your gymnastics competition and doing so well. Good morning, Savannah. Hello, my dear. Good morning, Tiffany. Good to see you here. So we are talking about great books. And of course, the places that sell great books are independent bookstores. And it's so important that we support our independent bookstores. They are keeping us, in tune with all the latest releases, and what a great resource to have of places to read different kinds of books, find out about different kinds of people, right? So what kind of books do you like? Do you like, I love reading about those. Michael picked up some great books. Let's see what he got. He picked up, the last thing he told me. This has been on some of the top best-selling lists. It's a New York Times bestseller. Reese Witherspoon has it in her book club, right? So you see right here, her little stamp of her book club on there, right? And the last thing he told me. This is an interesting book. I'm hoping to be able to have time to read that. Let's see what else he got in here. Oh, I love this. It's A Little History of Art, right? Love that. Why did our ancestors make art? What did it mean to them, and what does their art mean for us today? And why is art even important at all? This little history takes us on a thrilling journey through 100,000 years of human creativity. This vibrant new history roams from Japan and India to South America and the Middle East, showcases a host of overlooked artists, and celebrates art's crucial role in understanding our collective culture. A Little History of Art. You have so many pocket bookstores near you. I love that, Tiffany. I love that. I love when little stores pop up and help local communities, right? I love the project called the Free Little Library. People who are putting these little libraries in different styles. Have you ever seen little free libraries? If you don't know what they are, go on, just look up Little Free Library, Google that. In fact, they have an app where you can find little free libraries in your neighborhood. And what this project is a way for people to exchange free books. Do you have books around your house that you just haven't read anymore, or you want to give them to somebody? It's kind of like consignment sales or garage sales. When we have things, we're finished with them, we don't know what to do with them, and you don't want to just dump them off somewhere. You really want to pass them on to people who can use them. And what better thing to pass on to someone for free than a book, right? So bookstores, little free libraries, they're all so important to the exchange of ideas and passing on great information and stories. Another book that Michael picked up, The War That Made the Roman Empire. Antony, Cleopatra, and Octavian at Actium. Now, I don't know about you. I'm kind of dating myself when I say this, but if you're familiar with the movie Cleopatra, with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton and Rex Harrison, it talks about that time period. And so this story is going to dive deep into that. Actium was one of the most important battles in history, and Barry Strauss brings this stunning maritime collision vividly to life. The war that made the Roman Empire is the gripping story of one of history's most important and yet little-known wars, the campaign that culminated in the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, whose outcome determined the future of the empire. So, again, so many great things that we can find in bookstores. History, nonfiction, fiction books, books about art, books about food, books about great places around the world to visit, books about gardening. You can find a book just about any topic that you want in your local bookstore. So if you've got a bookstore in your neighborhood today, go in. Just go in and check them out, because you never know what's in there. Oh, and I love this. I love that bookstores give away bookmarks, right? And look, on the back of their bookmarks lists some of their locations, right? So San Francisco, Mountain View, Campbell, Berkeley, Alameda, all of these places love when bookstores give out free bookmarks, right? To go along with books. It's just a great thing. And so I love my job, and what I get to do is to help people create their stories, to craft their stories and make them, available to people out in the world. I love helping writers discover their voice and put books together so that they can be published. And so what better way to learn and read more about books than joining a book club? So that's what I'm talking about today, is the importance of book clubs, why you should be in one, and hopefully convince you to join mine. Maybe over the summer, if you've ever wanted to join a book club, or you just would like to, maybe over the months of summer, read some good books, be in some discussions with people. There's so many great book clubs that I'm involved in, one that I have, and I'm also involved in one by a woman named Sharon McMahon. You may know her as Sharon Say So on Instagram, but she has a great book club that she puts together and offers, I think, 3 times a year. And so I just joined her summer session, and I'm really looking forward to the books that she has selected for the summer. But joining a book club, have you ever joined a book club? Have you ever thought about joining a book club? Were you ever involved in a book club in school? Maybe you remember times where you got together and just read with someone. Well, why are book clubs so important? Well, here's some of the reasons that joining a book club is important, because book clubs help you learn so many different things, but what a book club actually will do will force you to actually read a book. Have you ever picked up a book and started it and then sat it down, and then picked up another book and read a little bit of it and sat it down? Joining a book club gives you the accountability to actually read a book and discuss it with someone. That's the best way to read and really enjoy what the book is about. I know that when I taught in high school and taught literature studies with my students, I had to help them appreciate good literature about stories that took place many, many years ago, especially if they had to take them in conjunction with history classes, or we did research for papers. But I tried to make it fun. I let them watch movie adaptations. We would read them out loud in class in different parts, so people were actually reading characters. They learned more about the characters by doing it that way. And we actually discussed what the book was about, the messages, the themes. Why are they important? Why does it matter? What were the people in the story feeling and thinking as they were going through the story? So when you join a book club, you're going to be in there with some people. You're going to meet some new friends, and not just the ones in the books, but you'll actually make some new friends of people who are reading the same thing you are and are going to discuss it with you and share their thoughts. It also opens up your mind to a different perspective. When we read a story that takes place in another place, like this book takes place in New York, right? This book is about England. If you've never been to those places, books actually help open your mind and have a different perspective about places and people. And because you're reading books about different places and different people, it broadens your horizons. It gives you a bigger picture of the world, and helps you understand people's viewpoints from different places. That's why we want to read books. So it also involves snacks and beverages. Like today, I love that in our hotel, they have actual coffee mugs. And and so you can sit down, and if you have book club, you might have book club and have some snacks nearby. If you go to an actual book club and you attend it in person, a lot of book clubs that I've attended, they'll have like finger foods and different refreshments. But the beauty of what we do now online is that we can get together online from different places around the world and discuss books. In my book club, I've got people from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast who are participating in our book club. And we get to hear things from their perspective, how they're doing, checking in with each other. It's a great thing. And it also gives you a break from what's going on in our world. Anybody following what's going on in our world with the whole Elon Musk taking over Twitter thing, right? Or how about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard divorce case going on? Is that just not a show in and of itself, causing all kinds of kerfluffle on social media, right? So if you want to get a break from all of the craziness that's going on in the world, a book club is a great place to do that, because you can get together with people. And I know for myself, when we get together, a book club, and we talk and we have fun touching base with each other, I really have to keep track of the time that we're on for book club, because we could go on forever, not just talking about the book, but catching up with each other. It's a great way to have community if you don't have community where you are. So I have something that I wanted to share with you, because this is why book clubs are so important, and why joining one might be something that you want to do this summer, because there are great benefits to what we can get from reading. And I'm talking about reading actual books. I'm not talking about reading online or, and nowadays, I think a lot of students have challenges in reading, because to them, sitting down with an actual book is so different, because they've grown up in the digital age. Now, of course, there are books you can get online. You can listen to audiobooks. It's a great way. I listen to audiobooks when I'm traveling. If I'm even doing things around the house sometimes, it's a great way to take in the information. And especially audiobooks are great when the characters are read by different people. It almost brings it to life in a new way. There's online books that you can read on your Kindle, that you can use on your phone, right? So there's great ways to be involved with reading books. But more importantly, there are some tangible benefits to really in-depth reading. So there are studies that have been shown that reading actually aids in the body's ability to relax and wind down, and it actually can reduce stress. If you were to take a break at work, say, and you had a book with you, and on your break or on your lunch break, you were to just go somewhere outside and sit and get lost in a story, it helps take your mind and your brain away from the stress focus that it's doing maybe at work, or if you're working on a project, to then actually getting lost in a story, going away to England, or going away to New York and finding about this, or going back in time to the Roman Empire in history. And it actually helps your body relax. If you were to read before you go to bed, there are studies that have shown that it actually aids in your body's ability to wind down and to relax. And that's so important, right? It also improves your concentration and your memory. When you're able to read and take in information by sitting with concentrated reading, it helps your mind, your brain, to focus better and to recall things better. So it's super important. The next one is one I tell my authors all the time. If you struggle with writing or with trying to put your thoughts down on paper, or even just, collectively putting thoughts down together in some kind of form, reading is your best way to do that. You are seeing examples of great writing that's been published, right? And you're seeing all of this and you're learning how to put your thoughts together by seeing strong examples of others. It strengthens your writing skills and it also expands your vocabulary. Have you ever been reading something and you come across a word you've never seen before? Right? Have you ever done that? Maybe you've done that with books that you've had to do in school, but more importantly, it's fun. And I even still learn words that aren't normal to my vocabulary. But you can add those and use those and expand those skills. So if you want to be a good writer, read great books, look at examples of great books, and then develop your own style and your own vocabulary. It also enhances your knowledge. I mean, if we're reading about places in New York or England, or we're reading if I want to get better at gardening, or if you want to learn how to cook better, if you want to learn more about a person's life, if you want to learn about a place, right? If you ever wanted to come to California, if you've never been here before, and you get a book on the area and some of the things to see, right? Not everything is Google. Okay, Google is helpful to help us find information, but take a deeper dive into some great books. You never know. And so it'll expand your knowledge. It'll enhance your knowledge level about things. More importantly, it increases your imagination and creativity. When you can see yourself in New York at a hotel, or fighting on the seas, the great seas in the English Channel, or maybe like in my book club, you're reading about a fictional story about the Queen of England solving crimes, solving a murder mystery. Or maybe, as in our May book pick from my book club, we're going to be reading The Personal Librarian. And this is the story behind the woman who is responsible for the Morgan Library and Museum in New York City. Have you ever seen the movie Beauty and the Beast? Have you ever seen, the Disney's version of Beauty and the Beast? And remember when Beast shows Belle the library, and he opens up the room and you see the library? Well, that portrayal of the library in the castle was actually inspired by the Morgan Library in New York. So if you've ever wanted to see a library like that, the historic library, but we're going to be reading the story about the woman who was the personal librarian to J.P. Morgan. And let's see, she's hired by J.P. Morgan to curate a collection of rare manuscripts, books, and artwork for his newly built Pierpont Morgan Library. She was in her 20s, and Belle becomes a fixture in New York society and one of the most powerful people in the art and book world, known for her impeccable taste and shrewd negotiating for critical works as she helps create a world-class collection. But Belle has a secret, one she must protect at all costs. Isn't it interesting that her name was Belle DaCosta Green? She was born not Belle DaCosta Green, but Belle Marion Greener. She is the daughter of Richard Greener, the first Black graduate of Harvard and a well-known advocate for equality. Belle's complexion isn't dark because of her alleged Portuguese heritage that lets her pass as white. Her complexion is dark because she is African American. The Personal Librarian tells the story of an extraordinary woman famous for her intellect, style, and wit, and shares the lengths she must go to for the protection of her family and her legacy, to preserve her carefully crafted white identity in the racist world in which she lives. Fascinating story about someone almost lost to history if we didn't know about her through a story in great books. So if you want to join my book club, we're going to be reading this book for the month of May. And I would love to have you join us. We have a great time reading these books, talking and discussing them, talking about the great things. And more importantly, I would love to go see the Morgan Library in New York. So what's fascinating about this is, see this sticker right here on the book? Well, this book was a pick for Good Morning America's book club. And of course, as I showed you earlier, that we have one book. Let's see, where was it? Reese Witherspoon's book club has become really popular. In fact, so popular that some of the books that she has highlighted and featured in her book club are now being made into movies. A couple of years ago when I joined Reese's book club when she first started it, and I so enjoyed it because she really picked some great books, like Little Fires Everywhere. That became a movie, and I'm really looking forward in July to seeing the movie adaptation that she has executive produced behind the story Where the Crawdads Sing. If you read that book, you know how amazing it is, and I am really interested in seeing how she's adapted that into movie, or, into film version from the book, right? And again, great books inspire imagination and creativity. It does so for Reese, and she's able to then take these projects and produce them in a film, TV version that we can enjoy. So again, reading helps stimulate imagination and creativity. It helps strengthen your writing skills and your vocabulary, improves your concentration and memory, helps reduce stress. And Lord knows, in this crazy world we live in, we could use a little bit of that, right? So the 5 benefits of reading, so helpful, so important. And that's what you can get being part of a book club. So I hope that you will join a book club over the summer. I would love for you to join mine. We have a great time. We love getting to share ideas and thoughts. We laugh about it. And it's also important because you have different people from different walks of life with different perspectives being able to discuss and have engaging dialogue over things that matter. That's what's important. And I hope that you're able to do that wherever you are. But if you don't have that kind of contact, I would love to help you join my book club. You can go right here to my website at ronaeharden.com/contact. You can sign up for the book club. We're going to be starting the Personal Librarian for May. I've got some fun reads scheduled for the summer that I would love to share with you. And I hope you will join us because we really enjoy diving into these books, sharing what we think are important about the lessons that we learn, the themes that are in the book, the engaging characters that we meet. We have a fun little message thread for our book club. And sometimes when different people finish the book before others, they'll pop in and go, "Oh my Lord, I need a sequel to this because I want to know what happens next." Or we've had fun, So we're reading this mystery, right, where the Queen of England is actually helping us solve the crime. And it's a great portrayal. It's a great way to imagine the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, that all this time sitting on the throne, not only has she been the monarch, but she's been secretly solving mysteries the whole time. And the way this author wrote the book, you can totally see that being a thing. And she weaves in the narrative and makes everyday life in the castle come to life for us to see the Queen in a different light. And it's been really fun trying to figure out whodunit. So that's the fun of being in a book club. And I hope that you will consider joining one. If you don't have one, or if you've ever wanted to join one, now's the time, especially summer. Kids are out of school and you want to get them involved in reading. There's some great book reading programs out there for kids even that they can get involved over this summer. So hopefully you'll join mine. I would love to have you join. But if not, maybe consider it when you have time. Maybe consider just picking up a book for the month and reading it. Stop in your local bookstore today. Let them know how much you appreciate them, even if you go in to just browse. The importance of our local bookstores is crucial, and our support is what keeps them open. So, as I enjoy some coffee this morning here in sunny California, I hope wherever you are, you're having a great day, having a great weekend, lots to think about, lots to do this weekend. I hope that one of the things you'll do is pop into your local bookstore. Give them some love. Let them know how important they are to the community. Pick up a book maybe for one of your kids, or maybe you'll find something interesting that you would have never thought about reading had you not stepped in to a bookstore. And we'll be talking more about the power of story and how you can develop your own skill in writing stories, because during the month of May, I'm going to be interviewing some great people who are living their stories. I'm going to be interviewing one of my authors who just recently dropped her book this past week. In fact, a couple of days ago, she had the official launch of her book. And so I'll be interviewing Veronica and talking through the process of what it was like for her to self-publish her first book. I was so excited to hear her story. You'll be amazed at hearing her story and just the whole process of what it was like for her to go through writing a book. I think she learned a lot. We had a great time working together. She was fantastic to work with. And so as an editor, it's always a pleasure to see an author's books come to life and go out into the world. Maybe you have a story in you that you would like to put together and you're just not sure, does it need to be in book form? Maybe you want to start a blog. Maybe you want to just capture the memories for your family. Maybe there's something special going on in your life that you want to sort of write down and keep track of for your family so you can share it for them maybe at Christmas time. That might be an idea that you have. And if you do, I would love to help you make that dream a reality. So if you have a story in you, maybe you have an idea that you've been wanting to flesh out and you're not quite sure how to do that, again, go right here to my website at ronaeharden.com/contact. You can ask me those kinds of questions. I hear the ducks. You can schedule a brief 30-minute coffee time with me where we can sit down and sort of hash out your idea and put some structure to it and maybe bring that dream to life. But more importantly, you can also right here join our book club. We would love to have you starting in May, which is tomorrow, believe it or not. Today is the last day of April. Can you believe it? And here we are getting ready to march into the month of May. School's going to be ending soon. Summer will be here before we know it. So thanks for joining me here. It's always a pleasure to pop in here on the weekends and touch base with you. I hope wherever you are, you're doing fantastic. Get out there and share your awesomeness with someone today. You might make a difference in someone's life and you don't even know it. By just giving them a smile, telling them good morning, you never know the difference that you can make in someone's life. You've already made a difference in mine this morning by joining me here. Thanks so much. I hope to see you back here next Saturday, where we'll be talking about the power of stories and celebrating Mother's Day, right? Stop in your local bookstore, pick up a book for your mom or for somebody's mom today. It's a great gift idea. And you never know the difference you can make just by spreading a little sunshine in someone's life today. All right. Thanks, guys, so much for joining me here. It's always a pleasure. I hope wherever you are, you're going to have a great weekend. And I'll see you back here next weekend. Okay? Take care.